Attention homeowners. So while we were sleeping, this happened. 2017. New South Wales Land and Titles Registry sold for $2.6 billion by state government. New South Wales Land and Titles Registry has been sold to a private consortium for a figure Premier Gladys Berejiklian said exceeded expectations. Gladys Berejiklian said the sale was a phenomenal outcome for the people of New South Wales. The New South Wales Land and Titles Registry has been sold to a private consortium for $2.6 billion. Premier Gladys Berejiklian confirmed the sale at a press conference today, describing it as, quote, a phenomenal outcome for the people of New South Wales, end quote. Quote, to say I'm thrilled is an understatement, end quote, Ms. Berejiklian said. In a statement, she added, quote, once again, today's result has significantly exceeded expectations. Yes. It means even more funding for the schools, hospitals, public transport and roads that people depend on every day. It comes after the state government received more than expected for the sale, I think I'm supposed to be for the sale of, quote, poles and wires, end quote. Electricity firms Transgrid and Ausgrid. So my first question here is what has been sold precisely? Because if it's the land titles registry, has been sold for $2.6 billion. Does that mean who would be buying this? If it's you're just administering the land titles, who's paying $2.6 billion for a job to do? No, there's more to it than that, I'm sure. Maybe we'll find out here. Yeah, so it comes after the state government received more than expected for the sale of poles and wires. The state government confirmed it will invest $1 billion of the Land and Titles Registry proceeds in already promised upgrades to Parramatta and ANZ stadiums. The remaining $1.6 billion will be used for other infrastructure projects, with at least 30%, I imagine 30% of the $1.6 billion, to be invested in regional New South Wales. So here we go. 8% of the consortium is made up of Australian institutional investors, including First State Super investment funds from Hastings Funds Management. The remaining 20% stake is held by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group's pension fund. Now, I'm not a mathematician by trade, but 8% and 20% make up not 100%. So I'm not sure what's missing there, whether it's 92% of the consortium is foreign owned, but there's a 20% stake of the 2.6 that's held by the Royal Bank of Scotland Group's pension fund. Anyway, the Land and Titles Registry, formerly known as the Land and Property Information Service, handles property-related conveyancing services. Basically, the paperwork involved in buying or selling land and homes. So if it's just the paperwork, the administration, who's paying $2.6 billion to administer that? Then the money goes to the people of New South Wales, apparently. Well, it went to. This all happened 5 years ago. So the money went to people of New South Wales. Why? What is the investment if it's just basically the paperwork involved in buying or selling land and homes? Treasurer Dominic Perrottet said the government, quote, partnered with some of Australia's most reputable investors who will make sure the people of New South Wales get the benefit of those advances, end quote. All 8% of them. Unbelievable. It is understood the transaction is for a 35-year lease, with the proceeds set to be ploughed back into new infrastructure. So they haven't been sold. They've been leased for 35 years. Why is someone paying $2.6 billion to, the way I read this article, you tell me if you have a different impression, the way I read this article is that they're paying, this consortium is paying this fee to administer some building conveyancy issues. Where did it say it? Maybe it was down here. Basically, the paperwork involved in buying or selling land and homes. So who's paying $2.6 billion to run that admin? Unless they're getting something else out of it. World Economic Forum. I suspect. So it's a 35-year lease, not a sale. The state government is also likely to confirm the long-term lease of electricity firm Endeavour Energy in coming weeks. So all of this must have already happened. But yeah, so many questions. Just looking at this now, what are they really buying? What do they get access to? What do they get out of it? What's the return? What happens in 35 years' time? Well, they've probably divided up all of the land and homes. They've subdivided, they've done whatever. Do they get control over? Yes, this is so clear. They get control over making decisions about land and property boundaries in all of New South Wales. Yeah, this is mental. They're selling us out, and yeah, I get the feeling that there's a bit more to the land titles and council than we currently know.